What is going on, everyone? I am Braxton, and this is BWC Racing. Today we're going to go over the car and the WeRock rules once more. A little bit updated this time, a little bit better quality. Yeah, let's get into it. Start out here with our tires. We are running the Black Label MileStar MTO2s on some 17-inch Raceline monsters. Moving along here, going to show the motor, which is a LS3 tuned up to an LS7 by Turnkey Motors, as well as the Pro Series Spider-Trax High 9 axles. Moving right along, we are running some 2.0 Radflo shocks, as well as the Spider-Trax Pro Series Low 9. We are running a 2-speed Atlas transfer case. We also have a Mega Whipz 2-foot whip. We have a Turbo 350 as the transmission. Moving inside here, we have a Sidewinder shifter. We have our timer up there, we have our rear cutters, and then we have our front and rear dig. You can also see our winch controls, the lower one being the front winch and the upper one being the rear winch, as well as our locker switch. Coming on out here, gonna move forward. Here you can see our GG Lighting G10 dual color pods with the amber and LED feature, as well as our Mega Whipped rock lights. We have JM rigging winch lines front and rear. We have PSC steering, as well as Warren winches in the front and just a Harbor Freight winch in the rear. Coming up here in a second, I'm going to let you watch the startup process as well as the sound. Now I'm going to go through and I'm going to go over the rules of WeRock, including, like, this is a shootout. This is probably one of my favorite shootouts up in Cedar City from last year. So let's get into this. Now, how does all of this pan out? Let's start with how much does it cost? If you wanted to be a pro, if you have the rig and you feel like you can compete with the pros, it's going to cost you anywhere from $350 to $425. I say anywhere because I believe it's $350 now and $425 is outdated, but the rule book says $425. Now, if you wanted to just go out and try it, it's your first time and you wanted to be in a sportsman's class with all of the quote-unquote amateurs. I'm not going to call them amateurs because there's some people who I know have been in that class for years and are just there, you know. But that is $175. Now, how does scoring work? You have 10 minutes to complete each course by going through a gate. Now, there is a course flow, which means go through the gate, go from 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, and then out the finish. Now, each gate has a progression point, 1 being -1, 2 being -3, 3 being -6, and 4 being -10, minusing from your course, from your score. How does scoring work? It is a lowest score wins type basis. Now, if you were to back up or change the direction that you are going, if you back into a course and then start going in the forward direction, that would be a reverse. It costs 1 point to do that. If you hit a cone like we're about to do here in the video, it is a +10. Now, all of the cones on the course are live until you exit the course. The second you drive on the course, all 8 cones are active. So, like we did in Farmington last year, 2 years ago, we shot up a wall, bounced around, and hit both cones. That is 2 cones. Now there are bonus gates, which are a -10, which you will see here shortly. Now, for the sportsman's classes, there are 3. There's 3. There's 3 at every event, no matter what, but there can also be like a youth class or a UTV class. But the 3 are Sportsman's C, Sportsman's B, and Sportsman's A. There is a rear steer penalty for Sportsman's A. Sportsman's B and Sportsman's C. Sportsman's C is pretty much just your lifted Jeeps and such. Sportsman's B is like what you're seeing here. It's just a 2-buggy. No rear steer is allowed in that class. And then you go to Sportsman's A. Sportsman's A is allowed at the cost of 10 points, unlike Unlimited and Pro Trail, where you are just allowed to use your rear steer. No, Sportsman's A, the courses are easy enough. You're having lower built cars that it costs you points to use your rear steer. Now there are some rules to stacking rocks. The way it is put is if the car is moving, you are not allowed to throw a rock at the car. The car has to be stopped. No tire spinning, nothing moving. Then you are allowed to put or touch the car. Now, tools like a spotter bag, spotter strap, as long as they are on the course. But when you start, if they are in the course and you break down, you can use that in the time before asking for help and DNFing on that course. How does a spotter strap work? That is a +5 on your score. Now we're going to get into breakdown time. If you were to break on a course, you have until it is your turn on the next course to get it fixed before you have to call for breakdown time. How to start breakdown time? You have to have someone or you bring your scorecard to the judge and say, I'm going on breakdown time, or something similar to that. And then you get 45 minutes to get your car up and running and ready for the next course. And then you would just jump right back where you were supposed to go. You are unfortunately unable to run any course that you have missed, that your flight has already gone through. Now there is a interesting point thing that I've only seen once in my life, and I've been around WeRock for 16 years now. Is winching up and through an obstacle. It is a 30-point penalty. You are allowed to winch yourself through an obstacle, but if you hit a cone or take 10 reverses, then you're pointed out. Now let's get into banner warning and more safety things and some sportsman's things that, that are just sort of common knowledge in WeRock. Banner warnings. If you are going into a banner, you're pushing and driving through and out. If you do not turn and pull out, you are going to get a 10-point penalty once you get, I think it's 2 tires through. You get a 10-point penalty. And if you keep going further into the banner, you will be DQ'd. Now, for driver safety, you have to have a 5-point harness, as well as a DOT-approved helmet, fire suit, and a window net. Now for the rules of Pro Mod. Pro Mod, we used to have way more strict rules, but we're trying to open it up because I'm sick of having 3 to 5 competitors per event. I want some more competition personally, as I'm sure others will agree. There are some chassis restrictions and requirements, I should say, because requirements seems to be the issue, not the restrictions. You have to have at least a 40-inch wide chassis. You have to have a 2-seater cab, where you just have 2 seats in the cab, obviously. Now, previously, like last year, we still had the bumper rule. The bumper rule is pretty much you have to have a bumper that sticks out a foot to 2 feet past the center line of your front axle. Now, there are no length restrictions. There are no width restrictions. So you could have this super skinny and long car and compete in Pro Mod if you wanted, if you had the correct OEM body panels and side panels and the OEM hood and grille. It has to look like a car. Unlike the Unlimiteds, who, I mean, sure, it looks like a car because it has 4 wheels and tires, you know.
Before we get into my class rules, let's talk about a shootout and how Jake runs his shootouts. You have your regular 4 gates like a regular course. However, Jake does this thing called bonus land. Once you finish your regular courses, you go through a finish gate of sorts, and that's pretty much it. You can finish the course there, or you can go to bonus land. There are usually 3 to 4 bonuses, and you can go either direction in these bonuses. You just have to do a full 360 or 180, can't remember, before you can get both sets of points. That's a really cool thing, because if you're in third by, say, 30 points, and the first and second do not great, you can catch up and take the lead.
Now, the biggest rule in Pro Mod, in the Pro Mod class, is no rear steer. It has to be a drag axle. You are running these rear steer courses in a drag axle. Like, think about that for a minute. You are running rear steer lines, rear steer courses in a drag axle. This is the hardest class in WeRock, in my personal opinion. You are a pro running pro courses in a car that could very well be a sportsman's car. Yeah, it's something. Another rule is you have to have it has to be front engine, but that's not that big of a deal. Alright, that's going to do it for this video. Went over the rules for my class, went over the car itself, and yeah, let's get into Texas, guys. Next video out on Monday is going to be let's post Tuesday. It'll be on Tuesday. It's going to be a RC video for Texas, and then Thursday another RC, and then the next Monday after next Thursday will be real comp footage. Alright, I hope you all enjoyed. If so, please be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one.